Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We're going to have a great show for you today. Anyhow, I got my chat screen set up a bit late, so let me go to the second screen and start pulling things out. Welcome aboard, my peeps. Welcome aboard, Paul Fleming, Bridge MCP. ¿Cómo están todos mis amigos? Están aquí, Carl Foster. How many names are you going to have, Brother Foster? Bridge MCP. Let's see who else we got here. Let's see, AVQ. Welcome aboard, my dear brothers and sisters. Anybody that I missed? If I missed you, don't forget to go throw your name into that chat, so that whether it's the Facebook chat or the Twitch chat or the, which other chat do we have again? The YouTube chat, I am here to serve. Anyhow, folks, let's go ahead and get busy. First thing is from Miguel Rodnin says, the Yan crater spans about 1.85 kilometers, 1.15 miles, making it the largest crater on Earth, under 100,000 years old. Carbon-14 dating suggests the crater formed between 46,000 and 53,000 years ago. This impact is 1.5 times as large as Arizona's meteor. Okay, I'll put that after, dear Michael. Let's see what else he says. While all eyes are on Ukraine, U.S. bombs Somalia as Russia bombs Ukraine. You do not, in fact, have to choose between American and Russian imperial aggression. Better to bear witness to what is being done in your name. I so agree with that statement. In fact, one of the things that I'm going to talk about with the invasion of Panama, we're going to show sort of some similarities as we say certain things. You're going to see some similarities. Continuing from El Señor Rodnin, we have, what's that saying about chaos and opportunity? China decided to fly by Taiwan as if to say, we owe the place now. Taiwan scrambled fighter jets after 9 Chinese aircraft entered air defense zone. Everybody playing games now. Russia and Ukraine says first talks have ended. I don't expect the first round of negotiations, according to Radnin, to do much other than declare each nation's intent. That is so true. Let's see if I'm caught up that I can actually read it on a closer screen so my eyes are not that strained. Belarus to host Russian nukes in major reversal of post-Soviet order. One authoritarian giving another authoritarian nuclear weapons more than doubles the risk that those nuclear weapons will be used. So true, so true. Last one. Second to last one. Derek Johnson tweeted, I need you to hear me when I say that even after difficult years full of bad news, Belarus inviting nuclear weapons onto its territory is the most alarming thing I've seen in my entire professional career. The world is racing toward the cliff with no off-ramp in sight. I tell you something, right? This testosterone versus testosterone, my bomb is bigger than your bomb, I don't think it goes anywhere. I think this is to get people all crazy. But those people who control the bomb knows, look, in the case of Putin is probably a madman. So he would likely say, okay, since I'm going to lose anyway, let's just throw in the towel. Guys, release the bomb. I cannot envision a general. I can't envision, in fact, the generals in Moscow, in Russia, being in contact with the generals in the United States. My hunch is that they are in strong contact. My hunch is also that while everybody is looking at this war as something about Russian aggression and Putin. I think this war may be the demise of Putin. I think this war puts Putin at risk of being overthrown. When Kyrgyzstan decide that it's not going to follow Putin, when over 6,000 people are thrown into jail, I repeat, when over 6,000 people are thrown into jail in Russia, and time after time after time after time, in this very oppressive country, you have people objecting. Putin is in trouble, people. And I hear a lot of people saying, should we give Putin a lifeline? Should we give Putin a lifeline so that he can come out of here looking kind of smooth, so that he doesn't do something stupid? Nope. Because I don't think the generals are going to allow him to do something stupid. I think he's on his way out. The big, strong man who likes to show his 69-year-old beer chest may just be out of luck. I know it looks tough right now, but here's the funny thing. They talk about a 17-mile column of trucks coming in from Belarus into Kiev. They talk about all these, you know what's missing? The supply line. A lot of people think when you see those tanks, those lines of tanks, anytime I see a line of military tanks, I see a line of diesel trucks, gas trucks that are not yet realized. And unless you have a secure line, those tanks are useless. My hunch is we don't have to go after every tank, every big Russian tank. These guys are going to be sitting away in bushes, knocking out the gas in the gas tanks, knocking out all these other things that are to supply line, the food line for these guys coming in. You don't have 150,000 men coming in unless you have a really secure entrance. You know, remember how Colin Powell used to operate when he ran? And I'm not a fan of Colin Powell's military prowess either, because it's too damn good, to put it bluntly. I'm not really happy with politicians, with generals in general. But anyhow, so that's where we're at. Carl Foster, welcome aboard. Let's see who else in Thai. Salute, Peggy Lopez. ¿Cómo estás, mi amiguita? Hi all, just able to sit and listen today. Pain meds have me fuzzy brain, so I may not understand whatever you talk about today. Peggy, it's only in your imagination that you're no, I'm kidding. Who am I to say how you're really feeling? I hope you feel better, Peggy. But in case, I'll try. If you have a question, ask. If I'm not clear, you know I'm here. Tom C said no sound. It's just me. I think it's just you, Tom, because I see that I'm transmitting sound. Let's see what else we have. Bridge MCP says, yes, I have sound. Okay, sound okay now. Great. Paul Fleming says, I don't have sound. I'm going to see if it's me. 2 other people says that. Wow, what's going on here? All right, let's continue. Snack Panther. 2 words of, for Russia, get out. I agree. Bridge MCP said, at Egberto Willis. Yes, Bridge, how you doing, my dear beautiful lady? Carps DM. Of course, EU only welcomes white refugees, despite participating in the destabilization of many of the sources. Iraq, Afghanistan. Those are the refugees. We're going to talk about that. Has sound on FB, on YouTube. Great. Let's see what else we got. Michael Rodden says, sound on Twitch working fine. All right, let's continue. Michael Rodden says, I don't foresee Putin actually using nukes either. And no lifeline enough of him. Exactly. A lifeline gives him a life. Removing the lifeline puts him in jeopardy of being overthrown. And believe me, there are Russians back there saying, I wonder if this is the time to make that move. Is it the time to make that move? Let's see what else. Bridge MCP says, I think Putin is not going to see nukes either. And no lifeline enough of him. I agree. Let's see what else we got here. Deb Denny, welcome aboard. She says, or before Deb though, we have Snack Panther who says, not to mention 2 oligarchs came out against the war also, and their kids. Deb Denny says, welcome Deb. I've heard reports that Putin has changed, that his personality is different than before. You know, people have said that this pandemic has changed people, people in isolation. And we know Putin is scared of getting sick. People is scared of being around. We're all scared of getting sick, right? But he took it to the extreme. Did you see him at the meeting with the French president? He was really at one corner, right? Macron was on one side of the table. He was at the other side of the table. He's crazy. He looks bad, like bloated with a moon face. Ask Ashley if he's sick. Okay. Indication of long-term steroid use. Roid range. I don't know. All right. Bridge MCP says, Denny, I thought the same thing. Okay, we continue. Michael Rudnan says, the ruble is now worth less than our penny and economic collapse is imminent. The central bank more than doubled its main policy interest rate to 20% on Monday to support the plunging ruble. It won't be enough given Moscow has dearth of palatable policy options. Why would anybody invest in Russia right now when we see that they're about to lose a ton of equipment in their military? Think about it. Think about how many tanks that the Ukrainians have blown up, and while the rest of the world are trying to throw arms, and I'm not into arms, okay, but in this case, well, they need it. But the rest of the world, the Western world, are filling Ukraine up with armament, tanks, and everything that they can't get armament fast enough, Stinger missiles, everything. Russia, nobody's giving Russia anything, while Ukraine is blowing their stuff apart. You know, it has been. Okay, Egberto, what was a pick of glasses for you? What was a pick of glasses for you? A picture of glasses for me? What do you mean? I don't understand the question. Are you talking about the picture with my glasses on? Oh, it's dirty. Can't wear it. Anyhow, explain yourself. Bridge MCP, explain yourself. Anyhow, folks, I want you to listen to this. Before we're going to spend more time on Ukraine and the possibilities, etc., etc., etc. But before we go there, I want to say that Brother Romney grew a spine over the weekend. And actually, I put it in a newsletter. And one of my centrist listeners got upset at me. And I should have brought the piece that she sent me. But I'm going to engage her and write her a long note. I wanted to do it before the show, but I didn't have enough time after preparing for the show. Because people think, first of all, I think a lot of us know that the center has moved. The center has moved so much to the right that those people that consider themselves moderate are pretty much damn left-wing these days. But anyhow, continuing. She didn't like the piece that I did on Mitt Romney. Glasses for Egberto to use while reading. We've spoken of this before. That, yeah. Deb Denny says, Ashley, explain to your dad what a moon facies is. Yes, she do. I know. Daniel Ado says, notice Egberto's situational ethics. Now that they have an invader, it's okay for citizens to defend their lives with a gun. You, on the other hand, let me think for a second. An army invaded Ukraine, yes. And the military needs some help to fight them off. So they militarized the population to do just that. When would I have ever objected to that, Mr. Ledo? Do I object to every single Texan and American having a gun? You bet your life. If you want a gun to defend yourself, I don't believe in guns, but if you want one, fine. But to have an AK-47 or AR-15 or something like that, why? Hi to Egberto and Chatters, my brother Lee Grant. How are you doing this afternoon, sir? My good conservative brother, that is. Welcome aboard. Thank you for being here. All of you, thank you for being here. Love you all. Anyhow, let me go ahead and bring you that piece from Mitt Romney. And then we'll get back into get back into Ukraine, okay? Ashley Willie says, he definitely has seen moon faces 3 times now. Mom, then me twice. What she means is her mother has lupus, which means she was on steroids for a long time and had the moon faces several times. And now Ashley on steroids for her the swelling in her brain from her stroke. which gave her the moon face as well. So I kind of knew about it, but it's not about me, it's about everybody else. Maywood says, hello all. How is everybody today? Now that you're here, Brother Maywood, we are all doing better. All right, let's go to Mitt Romney and see what Brother Romney had to say here, and then we'll continue. Okay, check this out. Republicans are not going to like this, but Mitt Romney did it, and he did the right thing. I want you guys to listen to this because you know what? We need to have more people stepping up. We're going to talk about it on the other side. Check this out. Tell me what you think.
Something that Congresswoman Liz Cheney tweeted yesterday about sitting Republican House members appearing at a white nationalist gathering. She said, quote, as Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar speak at this white supremacist, anti-Semitic, pro-Putin event, silence by Republican Party leaders is deafening and enabling. All Americans should renounce this garbage and reject the Putin wing of the GOP now. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Liz Cheney was right with that statement, and she's been right for a long time. And I also saw that Ronna McDaniel came out with a statement as well, talking about how repugnant these white nationalists are. Look, there's no place in either political party for this white nationalism or racism. It's simply wrong. It's as you've indicated, speaking of evil, it's evil as well. And you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar, I don't know them, but I'm reminded of that old line from the Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid movie where one character says, morons, I've got morons on my team. And I have to think anybody that would sit down with white nationalists and speak at their conference was certainly missing a few IQ points.
Just more broadly, the pro-Putin sentiment that you are seeing from some corners of your party?
Well, a lot of those people are changing their stripes as they're seeing the response of the world and the political response here in the U.S. But how anybody in this country, which loves freedom, can side with Vladimir Putin, which is an oppressor, a dictator. He kills people. He imprisons his political opponents. He has been an adversary of America at every chance he's had. It's unthinkable to be. It's almost treasonous, and it just makes me ill to see some of these people do that. But of course they do it because they think it's shock value and it's going to get them more eyeballs and maybe make a little more money for them or their network. It's disgusting, and I'm hopeful that you're seeing some of those people recognize just how wrong they were.
Treasonous is a big word, so I just have to quickly follow up. Would that include the former president?
Well, I said it's nearly treasonous. There's standing up for freedom is the right thing to do in America, and anything less than that, in my opinion, is unworthy of American support.
Two things. She tried to get him. Are you really saying that the president of the United States, the former president of the United States, could be considered treasonous? He didn't take it back. He just said, remember, I said nearly treasonous. And likewise, anybody who's supporting that, somehow they're undemocratic. They're not thinking straight about the freedoms in America. So he said that. But I got one bone to pick with Senor Romney. When he goes ahead and he tries to create that false equivalence, right? That whataboutism, when they talk about nobody should be meeting with white nationalists, that is true facts. And he said from either party, the fact of the matter is I don't think he can find anyone in the Democratic Party who has openly met with white nationalists as we see with Republicans. I'm not saying that there aren't racists in the Democratic Party as well. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that as a policy, whereas you see Republicans freely go out in these spaces without consequences, we don't see that in the Democratic Party. But as far as him coming out, I mean, this is a heavy statement from Mitt Romney. He in effect has called some of these Republicans morons. He didn't want to do it directly, so he used an analog story. But again, he called these people nearly treasonous and morons. That from one of the former leaders of the Republican Party, and likely somebody I think is going to be taken seriously because he just may run again. So Mitt Romney on this one, you get kudos from Politics Done Right. You sure get kudos from Politics Done Right for this one, Senor Romney. Now, however, some of you take exception. We shouldn't even give him wrong. Let me go ahead and go through the list here, and then we'll continue. Deb Denny says, I've also heard that Ukraine is preventing blacks from leaving the country or asking them to move to the back of the line. Yeah, I mean, a few people have complained of that. I think I've read something to that effect on the Daily Kos. Norman Reynolds says, I think that any support for white supremacy is disgraceful. I think all of us would agree to that. Maywood says, try checking your volume. I sometimes turn it down and forget to turn it back up. Oh, are you saying that I have... sorry about that disparity in volumes. I'm trying to get those ranges correct. Eventually, you know what I really need? I was on Act Now doing an interview, right? And I kind of got jealous because my good friend at Act Now, Juliana Forlano, while I'm there are two of them. Hey, Snack Panther, thank you so kindly for your super chat from one Panamanian American to I appreciate your voice. All right, so tú eres panameño. Háblame en español un poquito. Pon algo en español allá adentro también, por favor. I'm going to put you up on the screen in a minute, my Panamanian brother. Give me 1 second to do that. But anyhow, yeah, listen. It is amazing. It is amazing to me, completely amazing, that for that occurrence, and I just lost my train of thought after talking to my Panamanian brother. You see how that goes? But I'll be right back with my train. I was talking about Forlana. So I go on her show, right? I go on her show, and she has this guy that's doing all the background graphics, and when they pop me in and when they pop me out, and they're using, they're not using as complex a tool as I am. They're using the online tool to do their show, but it's under the auspices of Act.tv, which is a fairly large network. And here I am at my lonesome having to do all of this together. I'm like, damn, I sure as hell wish I could get me somebody that's working on the side. Guys, you got to help me out here by clicking that join button and giving me 1,000 people so that I can hire somebody to do that. Because she sure has, well, actually they have Act.tv, who is pretty large. There's a big network. Anyhow, but help me, we can actually start our own big thing here. So come on, follow us, my Panamanian brother, and start giving us a super chat, start clicking that join button, start giving us that PayPal, all that good stuff. I'll get there in a minute. I'm not ready to do my ask it. I want to keep talking to you guys because that's just what I love. Tracy says, Romney, this is when I said Tracy objected. Romney doesn't have a spine. He is a bare minimum human and politician. He gets no pass or pat on the back for doing what the F should be done. I hear you. My dear Tracy, I hear you. You're absolutely right. I can't take that stance though, right? My thing is the bigger picture. I want individuals who follow us, some to take exactly the position you're taking, because we have to have that position as well. So I get you. But man, in his case, for me, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. All right, Michael Rodnan says, corporatist Republicans stand against white nationalism as that cuts into their corporate profits. It's wrong because it costs them money, as any corporation linked to white nationalism get boycotted. Look, it's a shame that you have to say the only reason they stand against it is that corporations kind of pay the price, right? All right, Snack Panther says, Ole, Mitt, and Liz try to say the right thing, then hate on people of color in a slightly higher class way. Isn't that how it always works, hermano mío, de Panama? Isn't that how it always works, But you know what? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're going to get the job done. Bridge MCP says, Deb Denny, thousands of African students are stuck in Ukraine. Thousands of Africans studying in Ukraine are desperate to leave as Russia invades the the country. And you know what else I read? I was on TikTok, and there's this Russian young woman who's married to a Jamaican guy, and she was talking about all the Jamaicans that are also in Ukraine. Didn't know that. You learn something every day. Bridge MCP says, but with flights grounded and other options limited, there isn't much that their governments can currently do. They have to just find a way to get across the border. Norman Reynolds says the magic word is almost treasonous. I got it. All right, what else have we got here? We also have that it says, Lee Grant says there is a lot of talk about traitors and treason these days. Check out Glenn Greenwald for some much needed perspective. You know, I have two feelings about Glenn, and I'll go ahead and read it, brother. But Glenn sometimes concerns me. All right, I know what you're saying. He sometimes concerns me, but I'll give that a look. I'll give it a look just because, you know why? You know what I'm going to say, right? Just because this is y'all's show and y'all pretty much say, hey, Berto, check this out. And I do feel a responsibility to check things out when you guys tell me to go check something out. I want to put my Panamanian brothers, thank you on the screen. So, you know, as I'm doing this, if you see me a little bit off kilter a bit, it's because I'm fulfilling my responsibility to my peeps. And who are my peeps? You guys, you all are. You all are, because without you, there ain't no politics done right. And I just got rid of something that I don't know what I got rid of. It looks like I just got rid of my spinner. That's okay though. I deleted the wrong thing, but you know what they say when you're doing two things at the same time. Anyhow, so thank you guys. I have another video that I want to show you guys. Okay, I'm going to put this on, and then we'll take it on the other side. It's about this issue that was brought up in Ukraine. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side. Our thoughts go out to our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. But you know, in every conflict, it seems that something rears its head. There's something we learn about society. And there's nothing different about this. You know, when Russia started to invade Ukraine, it pained all of us. But one of the things that we all stood up is we thought we stood up in solidarity. And we did. And the refugees started to flow away from Ukraine, and they started to enter these other countries with open arms. Poland said, come into our country. We can probably house 1 million of you. Ireland said, you know, we will stop requiring the visas for Ukrainians to get over here. Just come on. We want to protect you against the big bad Russian. And that's good. That was great. But you have to ask the question, when Russia and the militias were fighting in Syria, how comes those Syrians that were bombed, those Syrians that were harmed, maimed, they were turned back? Barbed wires were filled up in Hungary and all these other countries to prevent them from coming in. You sit there and you wonder, why? I mean, these are people that are suffering, babies being held in women's arms, and sick old women, old men trying to make it out of the devastation created by, you know, the powers fighting each other. Why? You know, and at first I thought I was the only one who saw it, and then I went to an HPJC meeting, Houston Peace and Justice Center meeting, and I brought that up, and it was amazing because several of my compatriots noticed that as well. And I reminded them that, you know, we've seen these kinds of disaster over and over and over again. And the treatment of people with different, who seemingly gets treated with differently. I mean, when the United States invaded Panama, and in order to get one person, Antonio Noriega, they blew up Chorrillo. They blew up the entire block of people that look differently to get this one guy. They didn't send American soldiers into these areas where they could potentially have gotten themselves hurt. They just said, we'll wipe everything out, the civilians as well. Nobody cared. And then, you know, I was happy to see that the AP wrote a note that says, Europe welcomes Ukrainian refugees. Others, less so. So yes, even the Associated Press, notably from Barcelona, Spain, they file into neighboring countries by the hundreds of thousands, refugees from Ukraine, clutching children in one arm, belongings in the other, and they are being heartily welcomed by the leaders of countries like Poland, Hungary, Bulgaria, Moldova, Romania. But While the hospitality has been applauded, it has also highlighted stark differences in treatment given to migrants and refugees from the Middle East and Africa, particularly Syrians, who came in 2015. Some of the language from these leaders has been disturbing to them and deeply hurtful. These are not the refugees we're used to. These people are Europeans, Bulgarian Prime Minister Kirill Perkov told journalists earlier this week of the Ukrainians. These people are intelligent. They are educated people. This is not the refugee wave we have been used to. People we were not sure about their identity. People with unclear past who would have been even terrorists. In other words, he added, there is not a single European country now which is afraid of the current wave of refugees. Syrian journalist Obka Mohammed says that statement mixes racism and Islamophobia. Mohammed fled his hometown of Dar in 2018. He now lives in Spain and with other Syrian refugees founded the first bilingual magazine in Arabic. But you see that and you say, well, these are just how those guys think. But this permeates the media as well. And that permeation, right, gets to the people themselves. Because people see the world through the media as well. So if you have a derelict media, if you have a media unable to do its job, if you have a media that's not fair, if you have a media that is, may I say, racist, then you get the same kind of result. I want you to listen to this, what we found recently on one of the networks. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Hiding out in bomb shelters. But this isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city where you wouldn't expect that or hope that it's going to happen. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city hiding out in bomb shelters. But this isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city where you wouldn't expect that or hope that it's going to happen.
Where it's a civilized city, you wouldn't expect it to happen, nor would you hope for it to happen, which in converse, those other places where these things happen are not civilized, and we don't care if it happens there. You get it? That's the media speaking. That's what's coming out. When you hear the Prime Minister of Bulgaria or these other places say these things about these guys don't look like those other guys who could themselves be terrorists. Now, if we were to enumerate what Russia is doing to the people in Ukraine, these are the same people, same races. Isn't Putin effecting terrorism on the Ukrainians? In other words, white on white terrorism? Isn't that what's occurring? So what does that prime minister mean when he says we don't expect those to be terrorists? Did Putin just use cluster bombs? And it wasn't Putin firing it. These other people could say for humanitarian reason and not to be tried by the Hague, we won't let go cluster bombs on our fellow people in these countries. We won't do that, but they did it. Civilized, what exactly does that mean? Wasn't the numeric system Arabic? Didn't we get a whole lot of our things from those people who may be considered uncivilized? Wasn't it true that Europe many a times during the Inquisition and during other times in the history were a pretty violent bunch until things kind of cleaned up because, it just burnt themselves out? Isn't that the truth? Aren't people just people and not really these false things that these others would like you to believe? Again, within this crisis, like I said, I feel for my Ukrainian brothers and sisters. But it is shameful that a Europe that sometimes like to criticize the United States as being the only very, very racist country or whatever, that they suffer from the same disease. After all, it's the genesis of the country, isn't it? Until we learn to call things the way they are, until we look at things through the right eyes as opposed to through some sort of a false filter, things won't change. Again, it's amazing the violence, the atrocities that you see in Ukraine is absolutely no different than the atrocities that you see in the Middle East when one terrorist group attacks innocent people or one terrorist group fight among themselves. The murder in Panama of 10,000 Panamanians to catch Noriega, those are all evil deeds. We don't call the individuals within the countries evil, but those were all evil deeds. Humanity killing humanity. There are some of us that are simply aberrations to humanity. And those people who have done that, whether it be Russian, whether it be American, whether it be Ukrainian, whether it be Iraqi, whether it be Afghanistani, it is no different. It is the same. Evil is evil irrespective of country, and no country has a monopoly on evil. No country has a monopoly on civilized. Who is and isn't civilized? Actually, we skinned people alive here in this country, didn't we? Nobody has a monopoly on evil. There are good people, there are bad people. There are good countries at any given time and bad countries at any given time. And some good countries can become bad and some bad countries can become good. You can have a great kid and you can have a bad kid. Let's be real. Let's just call it the way it is. And going forward, let's just try to make a better person, a better city, a better county, a better state, a better country, a better world. And then we can start talking about making better humanity. Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Oh, look like I'm a little bit off track right now. Anyhow, let's go ahead and do this. I want to first tell you guys that I want to thank my brother there, Snack Panther, who's on the screen right now as our latest what is it called? Super chat. Thank you very much. We have Deb Denny, Bridge MCP. Does that prohibit from fleeing? What about the other black citizens? I'm not sure, but I want to go forward quite a bit, because while I was watching this, I saw a message here from Daniel Ledo, and it said, "I don't get a chance to redefine terrorism," and he's absolutely true. I don't get a chance to redefine terrorism. So is what Russia doing to Ukraine terrorism? Hell yes, it is. The unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians in the pursuit of political aims, that's the definition of terrorism. They are trying to change that government. That is terrorism. Okay. Yes, I need to advertise. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for reminding me about that, brother Reynolds. So yes, what Russia is doing to Ukraine right now is, in fact, folks, terrorism. Don't let anybody tell you or try to prove to you otherwise. Okay, it is terrorism. What's being inflicted on our brothers and sisters in that part of the world. What I'm going to do is I want to remind you guys that this weekend we have Ask Egberto Anything. This weekend is Ask Egberto Anything. And here is that link to sign up. It's free. Just go ahead and sign up with that link. Ask Egberto Anything. We have a Zoom and we have fun on the Zoom. You get a chance to say anything. There's no judgment. We have our lefties and our righties that come there and we talk. One thing we do It's everybody gets their chance to talk. We have a civil conversation. It lasts generally at least an hour, but if it gets sassy, the conversation, we could go as long as you guys want. But again, please sign up at politicsdoneright.com/askegberto. politicsdoneright.com/askegberto is how you sign up for that. Hey, looks like we got another suit. Oh no, that's the same one I think from just became a member. Thank you very much, Snack Panther. Became a member of Politics Done Right. Why don't we get some more members? Click on that join button. Click on that join button and let's welcome a part of the PDR posse. Become a part of the PDR posse. Anyway, let me get, I need to go ahead and give you the stuff for the book, and then we'll go ahead and do the ask, and then we'll finish the program. Dr. Willis, as host of Politics Done Right, a progressive radio media show on Pacifica Network's KPFT 90.1 FM Houston that engages all ideologies, I found that our political angst isn't mostly ideological. There is a well-designed effort by many in power to control us. If we are at each other's throats, we are less likely to demand our economic and local wishes. In that light, I wrote 3 books. I wrote the first one titled, As I See It, Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, to describe the entire economy in a manner we can all understand. It highlights why it was designed to pilfer most as it empowers a few, the chosen. The second book, titled, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, take it to the next level. After understanding how the system pilfers, it is incumbent that we can speak to our peers to empower a change. The third book, How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, gives us a place to land. After learning about our economy that is dysfunctional for most and learning how to engage the other side, we point out what would make an economy that works for all. Each book stands on its own, but together they provide the full picture. Please consider getting one or more. You will undoubtedly learn, be entertained, and help us continue the mission with our blogs, articles, videos, and books. Absolutely so. Absolutely so. Maybe I can, whoops, I need to get to the right screen. And here we go. Well, look, guys, thank you very much for, check out the books, politicsdoneright.com/books. Anyhow, let's go ahead and tell you, please click on that join button if you are on YouTube. Click that join button, and just like our good friend Snack Panther, become a part of the PDR posse. Become a part of the PDR posse. Click that join button. If you don't see a join button or you're on some other network, you can join us on YouTube by going to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. politicsdoneright.com/YouTube. We also need Patreons. You can join us on Patreon, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon, politicsdoneright.com/Patreon, Patreon, or of course, the other platform we like, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Now, we have a lot of new stuff at our store. Check out our t-shirts, our hoodies, our cups. Of course, one of our mugs was designed by our one and only PDR Posse member, Bridge MCP. She designed it and she made that cup speak the heart of our program, which is we are unabashedly progressives who love our right wing and our conservatives, brothers and sisters who are also a part of the family. If you look into our chat room right now, we have quite a few conservatives in here as well. Do I have any hate towards them? Hell no. They're a part of America. Do we have conflict in positions? Yes. Do I believe some of their positions are wacko? Yes. Do they believe some of my positions are wacko? Yes. But we're going to talk about it. We talk about it. We don't kill about it. So that's the whole gist of what I want Politics Done Right to be, an unabashedly progressive program that wants to welcome absolutely everybody, and nobody is my enemy. And I mean that from the depths of my heart. Nobody is my enemy. So again, support us. Go to politicsdoneright.com/store to get some of our, t-shirts, hoodies, all that good stuff. My books can be gotten at politicsdoneright.com/books. politicsdoneright.com/books. You can also get all the different methods of supporting Politics Done Right by simply going to politicsdoneright/support. politicsdoneright.com politicsdoneright.com/support. Okay, continuing with the interesting things that you guys have been posting. Madre mia, this is a lot. But I love you for posting all of this because I'm going to go through them and we're going to read them. Act.tv are great too. Yeah, they are. But what's the difference between Act TV and Politics Done Right? Politics Done Right is a grand total of one, putting all the videos, TV, and everything together. Act.tv works not only for themselves, they work for a lot of the other platforms, but they also have a huge staff. Makes a difference. They can do all the cutting of the videos themselves, etc. All right, Courtney, the SLP, Snack Panther, hey, glad to see you here. And Snack Panther salutes Courtney as well. Tom C said, Egberto, how is Terrell Starr, the black diplomat, doing in Ukraine? The last I heard, he was doing fine. He hasn't answered any of my tweets lately. I think MSNBC snatched him up exclusively, and you have to go through hoops to talk to him. Now, I am assuming, because whereas we had conversations constantly over Twitter DMs, I haven't been able to hear from him, and I have a hunch it has to do with exclusivity. Because I know he's alive and doing well because I saw him a couple of days ago on MSNBC. Let's see, he's still there. He can't leave. He's now kind of like stuck in there. Let's see what else we got. Robert Davenport says, Romney gives lip service to white nationalist meetings as bad, but votes against voting rights actions are more valuable than self-serving words. You're correct. One of you guys sent me a prose, an essay that I want to print, but I don't know who you are. I love the essay except for 2 sentences that are dated. If it's one of you that's here that sent me that essay, contact me. I think I left a message on the phone number that you have there. It's a good essay, and I want to post it, but I won't post it unless I know exactly who I'm posting this in the name of. Okay. Michael Renner says, your treatment as a refugee is directly proportional to your hue. Exactly right. Exactly right. Oh, you just repeated what I said, man. Okay, Redden, that's a good one, man. That's a good one, Hugh. All right, Snack Panther says, CBS reporter calls Ukraine relatively civilized. It's amazing, isn't it? Refugees are fleeing violence. They are being terrorized. They're not terrorists. Exactly. Paul Fleming says, people of color treatment is directly tied to the propaganda that the U.S. has placed on its citizens on the media. I agree. Yep, that's him, according to Panther. All right, Deb Devin says, young Russian conscripts are afraid and confused. They were told they were on a military exercise. Some didn't even know they crossed the border. They didn't expect Ukrainians to fight back. No, they didn't. And you know what? If the Ukrainians keep doing what they're doing, the only solution Russia is going to have is bringing in air power and decimating these cities. And what I would say thereafter, after they've done all of that, they must pay to repair it, just like Germany had to do their part. Of course, they didn't finish doing the job, but you understand what I'm saying? All right, let's see what else we got here. Paul Fleming says no. Breach MCP says, you're here chatting. Please support the program. Thank you very much, Breach. Daniel says, Putin is not a terrorist. Terrorist is the definition. I defined what a terrorist was. They'd use illegal means to attain a political goal. What Putin is doing is against international law, so therefore it is illegal. If it's illegal and he's using terror or violence to solve it, it is terrorism. What Putin is effecting is state terrorism. Definition matters. You're absolutely right, Mr. Ledo. Definitions matter. Neil Dowdy says, Romney is just trying to save his candidacy for presidency. I agree with that one, Neil. By the way, welcome aboard, Neil Dowdy. Welcome aboard. No, he couldn't care less about meeting and her assorted. Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. He has shown that by his deafening sins for the last 6 years. Yeah, in fact, he was wanting to work for Donald Trump for a while. Okay, let's see. Norman Reynolds says, Egberto, remember to advertise Ask Egberto Anything. And again, I'm doing it. Please sign up at politicsdoneright.com/Ask Egberto. AskEgberto, and sign up. We'll have a great time on Zoom. All of us talking, having fun, and also having good debate. Daniel Ledo's been there before. My brother Daniel Ledo, he doesn't like me to call him brother because he thinks he hates me. But it doesn't matter, Daniel. Still love you, brother. Let's see what else. We got Maywood says, Daniel Ledo, is Putin not trying to rain terror down upon the Ukrainian people? Of course. And isn't it illegal? It has to be legal as well, and it is illegal. Courtney SLP welcomes Snack Panther to the PDR posse. Bridge MCP says, Daniel, the meaning of intersectionality is the complex cumulative way in which the effects of multiple forms of discrimination such as racism, sexism, classism, and all the other isms combine, overlap, or intersect. Thank you so kindly for that succinct definition, Bridge MCP. Snack Panther says, I love supporting progressive independent media. And for that, we are forever indebted to you, my brother. Daniel Ledo, well, that's to somebody else. Let's continue reading. Eric Hayes says, national security through energy independence is key, and it has been undermined by the current administration and Saki. You see, one of the things about it is so easy to buy the rhetoric about national energy independence. You know how we could be energy independent? By using all the wind power that we have across this country that is untapped, free, and available over the Great Plains, over the mountains, in even here in Texas. Well, Texas is the biggest state with the most power, air power right now. I mean, wind power right now. But again, if we really wanted energy independence, as opposed to profits for oil company, we here in the United States have all the resources for true energy independence. But we choose to prioritize all the wrong forms of energy. And we come up with lies. Oh, there's no way, the wind isn't always blowing, or the sun isn't always shining, forgetting that there are things called back-in stores. Like I said, so often our country tries to make our population so not intelligent that they can then give them all the kind of crap to prevent them from doing the things that's in their best interest. Shame that we allow it to happen, but that's why you have Politics Done Right on other shows like this, because we won't let it happen. We won't let it happen. All right, let's see. Macaroni say, yeah, Daniel Ledo won't see any of my comments unless Egberto reads them out. And I always read you good comments out. Deb Denny says, have you heard of Jesse Delamore of Richard Ojeda? Richard, I love Richard Ojeda. I think he's in Pennsylvania. Actually, I think Richard Ojeda was working with Crystal Ball as he was trying to win either the Senate or a House seat in Pennsylvania or Virginia, maybe West Virginia. I think it was West Virginia. I wonder if they could be appropriate guests for your show. Actually, you know what? I would like to have Ojeda on. Jesse Delamore, I don't know Jesse, so I'll have to look that up. But you know how you also get these people on the show? Some of you can actually cue them to say, hey, tell your rep to go ahead and contact Politics Done Right. All right, Daniel Ledo says, Egberto has agreed to let me start selling his PDR branded snake oil. I'm proud to be a part of the team. Contact me and I could be happy to tell you everything PDR snake oil has done for me and tens of others like me. You see why I love you, Daniel? I mean, I actually think you could be a poet. You could write poetry. That actually sounded like poetry, brother. Okay, Egberto, are you talking about Ukraine has the right to defend itself and not sure what your point is making Russia bombed them? They have a right to defend themselves. Russia doesn't have the right to bomb them at all. Okay, Egberto, wind power isn't free. Infrastructure investment is required. What I mean is the source. The raw source is free. Just like the raw source of oil is free. When people come on your land, I always tell people that the oil was placed there. It is the only value is whatever it costs to get it. I mean, you're absolutely right. Yes, Snack Panther, West Virginia. I thought that's what it was. Okay. Para ver. My Egberto, to read this one out. Daniel Ledo, this is your definition of traditional warfare. Ukraine, Russian cluster bomb, munition hits hospital. Yes, it did. All right, what else we got here? Replying to Eric Hayes, just pay what it's worth, not subsidized, and it's not inflated. Absolutamente so. Deb Denny says, Major Ojeda moved to North Carolina. Oh, he did. He streams at 8 p.m. every day. Oh, okay. I'll have to check him out. I like the guy. I didn't know he moved though. Daniel Edo says, "Oh, Egberto, I love my enemies. Does it not make them less of my enemy? We have no intersectionality overlap. Even worse, your agenda is clearly hostile to my preferred lifestyle and a threat to my ideological continuity for my children. So no, you are not my brother." All right, brother, I hear you. Then Daniel, why are you here? Daniel, look, deep inside, Daniel loves us. And Daniel gives he's not a troll. You know, trolls behave differently. Daniel loves us. And Daniel gets, he gets his intellectual moxie when he comes here. I guarantee you he doesn't get it anywhere else. But what can I say? Look, it's 4:58. If you guys put about 3 or 4 more questions in there, I'll be sure to answer them. Otherwise, we're going to check out pretty soon. Please remember, folks, to support us. If you're on YouTube, click that join button. We need you. We honestly need you. In fact, I'm going to be sending out a flyer later on today solely as a fundraiser. Well, I think it's going to be a fundraiser. But you know me. I say I'm going to send something out as a fundraiser. Then I fill it up with all kind of news because I think the news is so important that I want to get to people. And then people read all the news. And then they forget to say, oh, let me go ahead and send them a PayPal to support the show. But that's me. You remember that thing? That's me. Anyhow, please go to our catch-all support link, politicsdoneright.com/support. You can find all the different ways you can provide us good support to ensure we continue doing this. Daniel says, my wife provides more than enough intellectual moxie. Thanks. Yeah, but you know, we get stuff outside of our immediate. My wife, my daughter gives me a lot of intellectual moxie too. But I like to hear from my peeps on PDR. I learn from all of you as well. Anyhow, let's get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.